These are what I've been wanting for years, and they're changing the way that I edit when I travel. Today we're going to take a look at something that wasn't necessarily designed for the film industry, but if you ever edit when you travel, these might be a really good addition to your kit. These are the Viture Pro XR glasses. As a quick disclaimer, I've used these for about a month and I fell in love with them, so I reached out to Viture and I told them that I was planning on making a video. They graciously offered to become a partial sponsor of the channel, and so I guess technically they're my first channel sponsor, though that doesn't impact how this video review is going to go. But my goal with this channel is not to become sponsor heavy. I'm a DP that works out in the field, and I want to show off and showcase gear that I personally use and that I think other people might find value in. As another quick disclaimer, I injured my face this week here and here, so that's what's going on there. Let's start with what matters most. After using these every day for about a month, the image quality is genuinely impressive. I've used a lot of other AR and VR goggles and glasses, and it always feels like they fall short, like the display is too dim or the color is not right, but with these, I really feel like they spent the time to get it right, which is really important in our line of work. The resolution is sharp and the colors are vibrant, and the field of view is wide, but with the way that it has open air around it, I've never had a sense of nausea or vertigo like I experienced in the Apple Vision Pro or some of the others. So where it gets really interesting for us as filmmakers is their companion app, the SpaceWalker app. You're able to set up 3 virtual monitors side by side. For me, I had DaVinci Resolve in my main middle, I had a clean video feed on the side, and then I had my messages and emails and stuff like that on my left-hand side. So whenever I went to the hotel and I plugged it in, I had my traditional desk set up and I could see everything. Now, sometimes the small text is a little hard to read, but I spend so much time in these editing booths that really I'm pretty familiar with it. And so on the go, without having to travel with like 3 30-inch monitors, this is probably the best solution that I've found. So maybe it's not perfect, but it's a very good solution and it feels right whenever you're sitting down and editing. So the way that it works is it has head tracking and you can turn your head side to side and you can see the 3 different displays. And then in the background, you can either have it black or you can put different pictures that they have pre-installed. Now what's funny is like when you're on a plane, you'll be sitting there and then whenever the plane starts turning, you can just see your monitor kind of go like that. But they have a shortcut where you just press three or four buttons and it resets it and it recenters it. So if you're in the hotel, it's always fine. But if you're sitting on a plane, every once in a while you'll have to click that command just to kind of recenter it. So one important factor whenever it comes to AR or VR goggles is comfort. And I will wear these for 4 to 5 hours at a time, and every once in a while the back of my ears will start to hurt around hour 4 or 5. But it's nothing like wearing a traditional VR headset where you feel like you have to take it off after about 30 or 45 minutes. I've used these for extended times on airplanes, and honestly, at the end of it, I was just ready to get out of the edit booth anyways, and so it was a good time for me to take it off and take a break. So there's one feature that is a highlight feature for them that I didn't know if I would like personally, and that's the electrochromic display on the front. Essentially what it is you click one button and the glasses go black, and then you click it again and they go clear. But for reference, it's more like a 0.3 ND, and then whenever you click it, it's maybe like a 1.8 or a 2.1. So if you're looking directly at a window, you can kind of see the window in the background, but if you click it open, it's still there, but it's just a little bit tinted. You know, honestly, I didn't know if I would enjoy that feature, but after using it for a month, I found myself when I was on a flight, I would click the button and I would acknowledge the flight attendant was there, and I'd either take them off or have a quick conversation, and then I could click it again and be back into that world. Obviously, I'm a glasses wearer, and again, one of the biggest features and selling points for me was that I could use these straight out of the box. In fact, I've let other friends with different prescriptions try these, and they've had no issues either. You can go plus or minus 5 on each eye, and so you're able to dial it in exactly to your prescription. One thing that I noticed when I first put the glasses on is that I could only see a part of the image, and that was because they were resting too high on my nose. Viture includes several different nose bridge options, so you gotta make sure that you find the perfect fit or else you'll be pretty frustrated for that first experience. Another main selling point for me was the portability factor. I was traveling for a month, and so I didn't have a ton of extra room, and being able to travel with these at the top of my backpack without necessarily adding a bunch of weight or taking up too much room was a huge factor for me. Throughout the month of using these, I also consumed a lot of content and played a lot of games on them. In fact, whenever I got home, I injured myself, and to stop the bleeding, I kind of had to have my head back for a few hours, and so I put these on and I just continued to consume content. Now, whenever I'm thinking about watching the next episode of Severance or the new show, I reach for these over just watching them on my TV. It's a very fun viewing experience, and it just feels like a different world. It almost feels like you're sitting in a small movie theater. One thing that I didn't really mention was in the SpaceWalker app, they also have a new feature that's an AI feature that creates a 3D image from traditional 2D stuff. So you can watch YouTube or look through your photos, and it creates a 3D image, and it looks surprisingly real. And honestly, this is really hard to describe, and these glasses are really hard to describe without using them. But my impression is that these are everything that I've wanted out of an AR or VR goggle or glasses since they started coming around. They're portable, they have very good image, they have a bright display, and they have really cool features. It's well polished, and it feels like it's from a very premium brand. I'm sure all of this information is in the user guide, but if you pick up a pair of these, here's a few controls you should know right off the bat. When you first power them on, the first button is your chromatic display, and then the rocker buttons are set to your brightness. To change the volume, you double tap the front button, and then you use the rocker. To change picture profiles, you first press and hold the back volume button, and then you use the rocker button to cycle through. To change the image position horizontally, you triple tap the front button, and then you use the rocker button to change it left and right. That being said, for cons, there's really not a ton. I mean, I can wear them for 4 or 5 hours, and if you want to wear them for longer than that, then you may have kind of some pain in your ears or maybe on your nose bridge. If you're in a really bright scenario and you wear white, then you can kind of see a reflection coming up from the bottom because they're not like a closed off unit. But other than that, I'm not sure that there's much other that I would change with them. I watched so many hours of YouTube reviews on these before I decided to plunge in and buy them. It's hard to describe how these feel when you use them and how they are when you use them until you get them in your hands. It's similar to other AR, VR, but it just feels much more well refined. It's what I wanted all along, and I'm glad that someone finally came along and delivered these. So if you're a travel filmmaker and you edit on the go, these are something that might be at least worth a try. Right now they're on sale for $399, and at that price, that's the price of a pretty decent monitor. So if you travel a lot and you edit on the go, I would say at least try them out. It's a risk-free, you can return it if you don't love it. If you have any questions about these, feel free to drop them in the comments below or reach out to me on Instagram. I'm sharing what I've learned and what I'm learning along the way. If you want to continue growing together, consider subscribing. This is just the beginning of the conversation.